And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we
Like a siren
podcast.
Like a siren call.
The podcast.
That song starts and
Big D
Patrick
and
comes
Bubba's podcast.
waltzing in.
Well, it means this podcast starts. What are you talking about?
Big D and Bubba's podcast.
Time for Patrick to harmonize with himself.
I didn't get to today. I kind of missed it.
Oh, darn.
So happy.
Please play that again.
What?
I'm so happy.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
my favorite new gold.
That's a really good one.
Oh, my
For
gosh.
our buddy Peter.
If Hiram is listening right now, who is the CFO of our syndicator, he just peed a little. He laughed.
So happy.
Sounds it. Sounds
Are you
very
happy about big news for the show? Are you happy that Hiram may have soiled himself?
I'm so happy.
Just so happy.
Just happy in
Speaking of things to be happy about, something that broke on the show today that came out of nowhere, Patrick told us the news about his baby that's coming.
Yeah.
We didn't, we were clueless.
Good for me. I'm going to be an old dad. That's going to be fun.
What?
Oh, yeah, man. Old dad. That's I was thinking about my grandfather, had 9 kids, and when the 9th one was born, he was younger than me.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I mean, you're not
Good
Tony
times.
Randall here. You're fine.
I mean,
Tony Randall. How young was
I think he
his?
was
he was
like
like
90 or something.
Oh, I thought he
What?
was in
Good
his
for
70s,
him.
But yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
No, it's not like that. So, and I
Congrats.
know a lot of people who've had kids that were older than me, but it's like, oh boy. Okay.
That's
I can
why I
handle
went
it.
and got the snip, because I knew. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Because one of our friends ended up having a baby, or getting pregnant at that time, and I'm like, snip.
One of my friends from high school, when we were seniors in high school, right around the time we graduated, so we're all 18 years old, her mom found out she was pregnant, and she was the youngest. So there was like an 18-year gap between her and her little brother. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's
Crazy.
that's
man.
crazy.
I couldn't
But-
imagine that. Basically at that point, you're thinking you're done,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're having to start all over again.
Starting all over again. Ugh. Yeah.
Oh, but you'll be a
Isn't that
fun
exciting?
old dad.
Everyone says the same thing.
Patrick sounds thrilled.
Everyone either says, "Oh boy, you're in for it," or "It'll keep you young." So I'm trying to root for the second one. It's
Or
either
kill
going to
you.
keep me young or it's going to kill me. It's it. It's one of those two.
Yeah. Yeah,
No
for
in
sure.
between.
Yeah. But she's, everyone's excited. Was your mom pretty pumped?
My mom's excited. Evangeline's excited. She wants a baby brother, so
Yeah.
she's rooting for a baby.
She doesn't
brother.
want a baby sister.
So
Yeah.
it'll be fun. We'll
Yeah.
see how it shakes
What if
down.
you have a baby sister? What
I
happens?
mean, she'll be
See, I
fine.
never
She's
asked my kids
12.
which one do you want. Because
we didn't ask either. She just straight up said it. She's 12, so she's very
Yeah, opinionated.
Yeah, so
Opinionated.
she knows. She knows. When my younger brother was born, my mother called me from the hospital, and I was, I think, 3. And she will tell the story that she's like, "You have a baby brother." And I said, "Why?"
I didn't want this.
No
I don't
one asked you for this.
Even then, I said, at 3 years old, I had to understand what was happening, at least on some level, and yet I guess it caught me unaware that the store kid visited.
I vividly remember I was not even 3 when my little brother was born, and I remember my dad taking me to the hospital, and they put you in the mask and the little thing over your head and the scrubs, and then make you wash your hands, and they take you in there to see the baby. I remember that whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. It was,
You guys have the nursery all set up and all that?
no, of course not. Think about who you're talking to.
Well, I know, but I mean, I thought maybe she was
Yeah, like
Now we have to
more
move. So
of an adult than you.
Yeah, she has an office in the house because she works from home, and we're gonna have to kind of take over the office. And then I don't know where we put her office. So
Living room.
What about that little? It's not a crawl space, but you have that unfinished.
yeah, we're thinking about finishing that.
Yeah.
So
I remember this from when I
anybody
took
knows
the
somebody
tour.
who's good with drywall, let me know.
I'm good with drywall.
Anybody but Bubba.
I know what. I can do that.
I'm not hiring you to drywall my house.
Do you know how much fun that would be?
Oh,
I would hang stuff all messed up.
exactly.
You know, you're supposed
Listen
to
to
tape.
him. He's proudly
You know how
telling
you're
me he's
supposed to tape the joints and everything
Yeah.
like that?
No,
And then,
none of
man,
that's
I would
happening.
screw it all up on
course,
purpose. I'd be like, hey, man, you get what you pay for.
I can't imagine why I don't want him to do it. Is anyone else shocked by that? So,
Well, anyway, congratulations. We're all very excited for you and Vivica, and
yeah,
hopefully
it's gonna be fun. Well, I'm gonna live stream the
Birth?
the
Okay,
not
cool.
the birth.
No. Oh, my gosh,
the
what?
gender reveal next weekend. I'm gonna live stream it on the Big D and Bubba Facebook page, so everybody can see it. It's
what's
gonna be
the
great.
what's the mode operandi, the means
I
of
don't
what you're
know.
gonna, how
That's
you're gonna
all
do?
supposed to be a surprise, so I have no idea.
So someone's doing all this for you?
Yes, my friend Tammy is planning the whole thing.
Okay.
So you're
She
not
and
going to be
Vivica are in
involved in
cahoots.
this?
My involvement is show up and drink whiskey.
We
These are
had,
my required.
Big shout out to John Hill with the fire department. John and his wife were expecting, and they didn't know what it was. So for their gender reveal, they had everybody from their church come down to the firehouse, and we put either pink or blue lake dye or river dye into the tank, the water tank, so it would, come out the color. And they didn't know we had
used
to
a
buy
fire
both.
truck for that?
Yeah, and then they opened up the hose and it started off like clear for about a
Now,
second.
Bubba,
and then,
who makes fun of gender reveals all the time, they use the fire truck.
Yes.
Okay,
And then they were spraying blue water,
good for them.
and it was cool.
That's cool. My rules were no fire, no explosions, and nothing that's going to make a mess. I don't want to be covered.
I wish
in
they would do the
paint
thing
or-
where they give you a baseball bat and then they throw you an egg and you have to try and hit it, because I guarantee you would
It
miss
just goes
it.
flat on the floor. It'd be so disappointing.
Yeah.
You just hear.
And you're
It's
Patrick.
a girl. It's
Patrick.
a boy. Yeah, I will say this, because I was involved in that one gender reveal. I thought it was dumb. I'm very conflicted. I'm kind of a hypocrite, I guess, because I think they're dumb. I think
Yes.
they're all about look at me, yay, look at me. I mean, you don't even get presents at a gender reveal. That's dumb.
But it is about them. So why wouldn't you say, look at me?
Because you know what? It's just I don't know. It came out of nowhere. My daughter's 12.
In the last 5 years,
yeah.
it's really kind of blown
Of
up.
the three of us, she's the youngest of all our kids, and that wasn't even a thought when she was born. So and I don't remember it being a thing 6-7 years ago. It started
Did
like
it start like at baby showers, and maybe that's when they would reveal the gender? Is that where it
know.
was, or
No, but you guys are right. It is kind of a
it's
newish
like a new thing, and then all of a sudden everybody's trying to
doing it.
top everybody with
Yeah,
a
it's
new
true.
fancy way to do it.
which is lame that you're not doing explosives?
My niece did
Sets
explosives.
fires.
They did tannerite. No, it wasn't. I mean, they did tannerite. They did pink and blue because she had twins, and there was one of each. I'm like, and that's okay, good, but I'm not doing that. Mostly because we're going to be at a Mexican restaurant, and I don't think they would approve. I'm like, yeah. So where can we set up the explosions?
So you're going to do it at a restaurant, at a play. Okay.
Doing it at a place, at the patio. It's going to be fine.
All right. Well, fun.
You
That's
know.
awesome.
I said it needed to be more exciting than I went to one where all they did was pull like a thing out of the
string.
and I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do this, it needs to have a little bit more.
So what are you going to do? Have like a giant enchilada, and they
I
cut into
suggested
it?
a piñata filled with either pink candy or blue candy,
Yeah.
and then we can hit it with a stick.
It's pretty good.
As long as they don't blindfold me, I might actually hit it.
What about a piñata filled with chocolate syrup, and then you go, okay, that was just for me, and then you do like the real one after.
The only
You'd be like, I have chocolate syrup!
yay!
Yeah, yum.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, if it is about you, you might as well make it completely all about you.
What does that have to do with me? Chocolates? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like food and candy and stuff like that. Or bust it open and it's a bunch of M&Ms. That would be nice.
Okay, but then okay. Can
Just
we change
candy.
the subject?
That's what
It's just
belongs in a
got
piñata
really,
anyway.
Really weird.
Are y'all doing any Halloween parties this week or weekend?
Not this weekend.
I know everyone's doing them next weekend.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've got one tomorrow night.
you do? Mm-hmm. Costume?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
it's the one
pull
you're-
one out of my closet.
Is this the one you're dressing up as that
No,
character from
that's-
another?
It's what I
Penny
did for
Lane?
their party last year. Is I dressed up at Penny Lane and nobody knew what it was. So
Yeah.
So what's your idea for this year?
I've got like 2 Halloween costumes I've used in the past. One is a German beer wench outfit, and then the other one is
Oh, I'm sorry. A what?
German beer. The girls that carry the steins.
Oh yeah,
around.
like the
you put
Oktoberfest
Like the
girls.
St.
Yeah,
Pauli
yeah,
girl.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got a stormtrooper costume.
Yeah.
And it's not super hardcore, but I got it at Target or something, but I might put that on.
Okay.
Something to do.
And now, are you going to make anything for it?
But
Like food wise?
oh gosh, no.
Oh, I don't know.
No, they
You don't make food for the.
No, I don't know these people.
Oh.
They nicely
well-
invited me, but they do this whole big shebang, and I can show up with Rice Krispie treats, but people are there to drink.
You should dress like Mox from Varsity Blues, and people go, "Who are you?" And you go, "I'm James Vanderbeek." Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Show up as a blonde from Cheshire, Connecticut? Because
No,
I'm
you
already
just do
that.
like the jersey and all that. I saw a kid. There was some stuff that was posted. It was a little kid, and he was kind of a chunky boy, and he dressed up like Billy Bob, and he had a stuffed pig.
Okay, and yeah, but,
I love that dog.
okay, that's a little easier than showing up as James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
she's got a
if you
point.
if you dress like what was his number, you do the whole thing.
But I'm a girl.
But I'm a girl.
People are gonna be like, "You like in your boyfriend's jersey?" And then
I
I'll
dressed up as a
and
Hooter
then
girl
also,
one time, and I'm a
really-
dude.
Like, am I gonna
Yeah,
take
but that's
pictures and be
funny.
like, "LOL, I'm James Vanderbeek"?
That would be great because all your people on your Facebook from back home would be like, "Oh my gosh, you're just like him."
Oh gosh, what a nightmare of a costume that would be.
You just don't like anything with him in
Do
it
not,
at all, do you?
Do not.
No, and then that's why you brought it up. So don't act like you're surprised.
Yeah, but I was hoping that I could bring it up and she'd go, "You know what? Maybe I could." And then she would take it in a funny twist with, "I'll dress like his mother or something, or I'll dress like whomever."
His mom died.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, Melinda dead.
I'm sorry. I
She
didn't
died
know.
in the last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of bad
I'm
about
so
that.
very
And
sorry
then
to
it
bring
got
that
really-
up.
See, this
Yeah.
is why. So we can. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to a party. Tracy Lawrence is having a party, and I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but he hired Big Earl from the Floribama to come up and sing inappropriate songs. He's setting up a stage and everything in the field, and we're all gonna watch Big Earl do his show.
I don't know. I think I know Big Earl.
Big Earl, man. Big Earl is like a legend at the Floribama. He sings really inappropriate songs about hanging out with waitresses behind the Waffle House and all kind of other, I think it's the Sexual Biscuits or something like that is the name of his song. Yeah, this band. Yeah,
I'm very excited to see the pictures of Tracy and his wife's costumes
every year.
because he already told me what they're
knock
going
it
to be.
out. Oh, did he tell you?
yeah, I
don't
already know
even
what they're going to be.
Is it a secret?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
No, I put it on my Instagram like a month ago, so it's
Okay.
out there. Yeah, they're going to be Peg and Al Bundy.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
excited to see that.
That's even better than
Yeah.
last year. They were Donald and Melania Trump. The year before, he was Slash from Guns N' Roses, and she was like a rock chick from a video. Like they go all out on the costumes.
That's
I don't.
pretty funny.
What are you and Vivica gonna do?
I mean, the bare minimum. I need a costume that people look at and go, "Well, that's a costume," and I don't want to try harder than that.
So what are you
I
gonna
have
do?
no idea. My wife's been looking at stuff, and
Yeah.
whatever.
How many people will be at this party? You think? Do you go every year?
Yeah, the last few years I've been. It got rained out 2 years ago, so let me think. It's usually like 40 people. It's not like huge, but it's a good for a house party. It's a pretty
40's
good party.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's outside. We sit around the fire.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not big on the dressing up and all that because it's so much effort, and then there's usually no appreciation for your effort.
You're absolutely right.
Like you show up and people are just like,
Nobody cares.
They don't care. They care if you care about what they're wearing,
Come on.
but they don't care that you're wearing whatever
That's right.
clever thing you did.
Many years ago, I went to a Halloween party, and I think it's Halo. The guy had taken boxes.
Like Master Sergeant.
Is that what it is? And
Yeah.
it's the big green dude. And this poor guy shows up in cardboard boxes that he'd painted, and he's trying to walk all around the party. He had to give up after
Did it look good though?
It did, except people were like, "Hey man, cool. I'm gonna go get another beer." That was all the appreciation that he got for this massive undertaking.
When I was at LSU, there was a party every year on Carlotta Street, which was like a block and a half off campus. So it wasn't on campus. So it was a raging kegger. It was all these old houses where a bunch of college students lived, and everyone had a keg on their porch. So it was like a big street party.
Yeah.
And I remember that was the first time I ever saw people making really creative costumes. Like you could tell nobody went out and bought a costume. And a lot of them I can't even talk about because it was always something dirty or something wrong. But some really cool stuff too. Like people that had skill to do creative stuff and just make a costume and spend all their time making costumes. Every superhero character, every cartoon, and then all kinds of other weird stuff.
I want to say this to the ladies: please don't default to sexy whatever cartoon character it is. That is so.
What you doing? That's part of the beauty of Halloween. What are you talking about?
I mean, here
don't
comes
mess with
sexy
tradition.
Mulan. Here
That's
comes
right.
sexy Finding Nemo. Ooh, it's sexy Dory.
Sexy Smurfette.
Yes.
Hey,
it's
listen,
like,
sexy Smurfette's legit. Okay,
Still sexy.
still sexy.
Smurfette was sexy by default.
I did love me some Smurfs, man. I did. That was my favorite.
How tall were Smurfs? Do you remember?
3 apples high.
3 apples tall. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
No delay. No Googling.
It's things like that will stick in your mind forever, and actual information that could be useful in real adult life just went right out.
I was looking to see if I had any pictures of people in costumes, and I don't. Except here's a picture from 3 years ago of me and Tracy Lawrence, and he's dressed as Slash, where he actually tried, and I am dressed as a strawberry, which I bought at Target. So that is the equivalent
But you
of
know what?
me every year.
It's a good costume. And I
strawberry?
will say,
And I had a name tag, and it said, "Hi, my name is Daryl." So I was Daryl Strawberry. You know what? Everybody laughed. It was stupid, but
It is stupid.
it is stupid. I still have that strawberry costume. If anyone needs to borrow it, I can hook you up.
It might be your thing this
I
weekend.
spent $12 at Target, man. I saved that thing.
One of the episodes of Bob's Burgers, Linda, the mom, she wears this long black wig, and then she wears a little star and a cowboy hat, and she says, "I'm a sheriff." So it was sheriff and sheriff. I laughed for 5 minutes over that and said I wanted to do that one year.
Best costume I ever had was a blue shirt that I had glued cotton balls to make clouds. And all night people would ask, "What are you?" And you just say, "Partly cloudy." And it's just funny. That kind of stuff, like I hate the puns, but that one, for whatever reason, just
On Halloween.
on Halloween, just go with it, man. Puns are great.
I'm going to be out there in a ghillie suit scaring kids again. It's the best. It is the best. I hide in my bushes. We set up a table always right by the front door, and we set the little thing on it, and then I just hide. My wife will usually sit there with a flashlight. "Hey, we're over here, And then I'll be hiding in the thing, and I'll pop out, rah, and the little kids all run off, and we end up not giving away a lot of candy. And
then Bubba eats
and
the
then get to
candy,
eat the candy.
and that's why he does it.
Seems like over the last few years have been fewer and fewer trick or treaters at the house.
No, not in my house.
Really? Good bunch, man.
So that's the weird thing is like when I first moved into my neighborhood, we hardly had any. And then I guess there's been like a lot of younger families moving in, to replace the people that were there, the older ones whose kids all moved out, because now this past year, it was crazy. It was awesome. A lot of little, 4 and 5-year-olds, which means they're all going to be hitting their stride over the next couple of years.
I can't wait to tell these teenagers that show up with no costume to go pound sand.
Trick or treat, no.
Teenagers going to
Really?
I think so.
sand.
Yeah, like I give them all candy.
You give them
I
candy when they
do.
don't have a costume?
I do. I go, you know what? Like they're kids.
They're
They want
not
free
kids.
Okay, they're teenagers, but they're still kids. You want some free candy? Life is going to be harsh enough to them in about 3 years.
They're
So
just casing your place to come back when you're not home.
Wow. Are you my dad? What happened? Wow.
Hey, Bubba's rubbing off on me.
So my neighborhood, I grew up in a little town, and my neighborhood was like off on its own. There were no other neighborhoods around, and so it was real easy. We had a big empty cane fields near the house, so it was real easy for people to pull in and park. And so people would come. I know your neighborhood people do this because I did it last year. I went to Bubba's neighborhood.
Yeah, I called and told him.
But people would come and just park at the edge of the neighborhood and then walk through the streets because it was a nice, safe, well-lit neighborhood. And, man, my dad hated that. He did not like that it was people he didn't know's kid. Like, who are these? I don't know these people.
Yeah.
You know?
We always get the late kids that show up. It's about an hour after the major, crew passes through. Then you get the late kids who come from other neighborhoods nearby, and they're like, "Let's go hit that neighborhood, man!" And then they make their rounds.
My parents' town, they have very strict trick-or-treating laws. You can only go between 6 and 8. That's it. So there's not time. So you either go to the good neighborhood or you're not getting there.
That's also dumb. We don't need laws for that. We wasted actual time with the government making a law saying
I don't
that you
know. I think
can't-
Patrick's dad would be a pretty big fan
Yeah,
of it. Because then those
my
kids
dad would
can't
be
come
into
to your
you have to
neighborhood.
trick or treat in the neighborhood closest to where you live. You don't be coming across town to trick or treat at my house.
No, see, we used
punk
to
kid.
when our kids were small. Again, we didn't have a lot of good trick or treaters in our neighborhoods, So we would go to a friend's neighborhood and we would trick or treat with them as couples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was great.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, I
it was
understand
great
when
until you got to my dad's house and he's going, "What street you live on?" Well, which house? Yeah, I get out of here, kid. You don't know.
Checking his map.
Yeah.
See if get his protractor.
Still don't need laws for that though.
What street do you live on? I don't know. Get out of here. You take your little sister too.
Happy.
Let's check in with Peter on happiness. Peter, are you happy?
I'm so happy.
That's good. Thank you, Peter.
What else is going on? Anything else?
What's his name is dead. It's funny we didn't even
What's
talk
his
about
name?
My brother Sam?
Laundry.
Oh, right.
Laundry. Yeah, I mean, all the attention that was given to the Petito case, and it seems like hardly anybody has really mentioned that this dude, this horrible dude, was found dead.
I think the problem is that we're not going to get closure. Her family's not going to get closure.
Never.
Now it's just such a question mark, and it's
Did you see they found in the search for her? They found like 13 other bodies.
yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see any of that.
Between searching for her and searching for him. Yeah, because people are combing these areas.
Well, that's good then,
Finding
because
these
that means
bodies.
other
It was,
families
yep.
will finally get closure.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Just think of all the things that are we are passing by on the road, and in a field, there's probably a body or two.
I always think about the people that climb Everest and that you have some of the bodies on there are legitimately markers for them.
Yeah, have you seen those pictures
Yeah.
and videos and things like that? Oh, yeah,
And-
go buy Blue Jacket Man.
Right. Green Shoes, I think, is the guy. And that, I don't know, there's something so weird to me. Like you said, you could be driving by somewhere, you don't know that there's a body, but these people know they're going to be passing them.
Yeah, the Everest thing is
ooh.
very fascinating. So Big D is the one who brought brought it to my attention. Basically, what happens is as people are climbing Mount Everest, if they die, it's way too much work to bring their body back down. So they just leave it where they fell or where they slept or however they died. And they're literally littering the trail. There's hundreds of bodies up and down this thing, and there's just people. And they're not decomposed. They're frozen because it's below zero over there, pretty much at altitude. And so literally they go, go buy striped green purple pant lady and turn left and go 300 paces. That's the craziest thing. Like, you're left up there and you know that as you're taking this hike up to Mount Everest to try to get to the summit, that there is a high probability that you're going to be a marker. I wonder if
This is why I don't go, because I would be just find Fatty, fat gray-headed guy. That's him. You'll see him. You take a left there, and you go right up.
Go left at Jerry Garcia.
How am I going to know it's him? Is the fattest guy on the mountain. We don't even know why he tried.
You don't even have the dignity of decomposition.
No. They're like,
that it's just a skeleton going, whoa.
we saw it when he
don't know
got
if
here.
was
We
fat.
thought that guy's going to make one hell of a trail marker right there. Look at the size of this
See
sucker.
him from a mile
Oh, my
away.
goodness.
Like, I mean, if you were going up the mountain, wouldn't you try to find some kind of identifying thing? Like, you would wear a jacket that would be very identifying, like, orange flag man, and you have little flags that come off your jacket, and then that way, if you were to fall, you become a better marker
If I'm
and more famous in a way.
You know what? I'm going to be a great marker for someone else. I think I'm turning around. I don't think I'm taking that hike.
Bubba would like glue feathers to himself. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
could be the,
Yeah.
Watch out for Chicken Man.
He's the bird man of
Chicken man of what's
Everest.
it called? Of Everest. Well, the Chicken Man of Everest. I feel like there's a song there. Yeah, it's like a Tom T. Hall song.
Yeah, so what you do is you just look for Gary, the emotional emu. Yeah, you'll see him up there.
We come right back to it.
Went to it.
Yeah.
Gary, the emotional emu of Kilimanjaro.
Walking up the mountain, not sure where to go.
Oh, we already have a
Then
theme.
you see the Chicken Man.
Gary, the emotional emu.
How did this happen?
Gary. Come on, Gary.
Let me tell you about this. We going up the mountain. Bubba's over here dressed like a chicken, trying to look like me. That's it. That's all I got.
And more,
That's all you
Gary,
get.
coming up.
You get no more from me.
Wouldn't that
we
be
are
great?
not going
So-
down the
so
Gary
wait.
Highway today. That is not happening.
When you do that, you wear like you put the feathers on and everything like that, and then you have a solar-powered little box, and it's motion detected. So like, those Halloween or decorations that you pass and it goes. So every time somebody on Everest passes you, it plays the Gary theme. And they're like, go by the musical emu thing. That would be awesome. And it's solar powered, so it would never die. It would never go away, like your body. And it would be there forever.
kind of a fan of it. It's making
I'm
sense.
just saying. Are we
more he talks,
punch drunk from the week
I
that this
might
all
actually
sounds like a
want
thing
to
now?
try to climb Everest just for that. I turn around once I hit Gary. I don't need to go to the top.
Gary, the emotional emu.
And everyone passes you, they go, "Hey, Gary,
Gary.
Gary."
I don't know why everybody trying to climb Everest, but y'all gonna die.
More Gary, the emotional emu. If you go to the next.
Oh my gosh. If you have a boy, will you name it Gary?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not happening. Hey, can you get that Gary thing ready, but also get Peter's gold ready? I want to see what we got here.
Gary, the emotional emu. His name is Gary.
I know this guy named Peter, and even when he's happy, he don't sound happy. Are you happy?
So happy.
Oh.
So great.
I think we are a little punch
We
drunk.
are a little. It's been a long week,
Long
man.
week.
This is what's great about the podcast. There are, and I will give a shout out because we just talked to a trucker yesterday, and he was telling us about how he listens and has listened to every single episode more than once.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I've listened to most of them several times, and I've started from the beginning and done it twice. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I just love it. Every time I listen, I catch different things. I'm like, so somebody
was gonna get to this, and
they're gonna be like, oh, it's a
I
Gary
want
callback.
this to be my ringtone. I want every time Peter calls me for it to play this.
I'm so happy.
I just this is bad.
You can do that.
I know I can. I'm thinking about doing it.
So, by the way, if you're on, if you have an iPhone, it's super easy to make those ringtones. All you have to do is save it as an R. Whenever you're saving your songs to your phone or whatever, you can save it with an R. You just type it in, and it becomes a ringtone. So when you sync it, you're done.
Wow.
And
Lots of
that
apps
could
that
be-
do that too for you.
Yeah, I have an app that does that.
I'm so happy.
Hey, who's the guest we have this week?
Scott Brick,
Scott
and
Brick,
he is a
read
narrator.
like 1,000 books.
Yeah, he's a voiceover.
Yeah, it's kind of something different, you
Yeah,
know.
a
And
little
he's the guy who read the Dune book, and Dune's the big movie this.
Yeah, some of
weekend,
the last
so.
night on the I was watching the game. They're really promoting it, the baseball game, the new Dune. I never saw the first.
Is anybody going to theaters?
Bubba does.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
they-
I mean, I didn't.
by
go
the way,
bef-
I went and saw
I
the new
didn't go
Bond-
to movies before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
I went and saw
don't
the
know.
new Bond movie last weekend, and that was amazing.
Can't you get it on TV at home now, though?
Yeah, you
You
can
can
get-
watch it on HBO
The
Max.
thing with Dune, though, is that they shot a bunch of footage specifically for IMAX in theaters. So it is going to be a different experience if you see it at the movies. As
Is
well
it
as
is
in
it
your
the same
house.
as the original Dune? They're just redid
I mean, they're
it, or-
remaking it.
Well, it's a
so
book.
Originally it was done in the 80s.
I
Yeah,
will
that was
say
a
it's
this.
David
gonna be-
Lynch classic featuring Kyle
I
MacLachlan.
read the book and I saw the original movie, the one with Sting and all that. The movie sucked. And I'll be the first to tell
Yeah,
you.
that's what I thought,
the
too.
The first
I
movie
remember
was
that.
horrible, and I don't
Well,
want anybody to
there
come
are
at
a
me,
lot
bro.
of
Change my
people
mind.
Who love it.
It was
And a lot
terrible.
of people who read the book who hate it because it was.
Also, the book was literally called unfilmable. That's the thing. It's such an undertaking to try
Yeah.
Well,
to
yeah.
make a Dune movie. So also, the Dune movie you're going to go watch this weekend is only part 1.
And good. Bring it on.
Part 2 hasn't been greenlit yet.
It's gonna
so if
be
nobody
crazy.
goes,
Of course it
no,
will.
no.
Well, you better make sure you go because if you want to see part 2.
It's going to be blue eye lit.
Part 2. I heard that.
Two.
I heard that. I heard that, Connecticut. I heard that little accent come out.
Occasionally.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Did you? So when you were in Ole Miss, did I mean when you showed up, they had to just think that you were just the weirdest talker.
Actually, I had to take a diction class. And the first day, they made us all get up and read a passage. And afterwards, the professor approached me and said, "Can I ask why you're taking this class? It's required for my degree." "Where are you from?" "From Connecticut." She said, "You know you don't need this class."
No, ma'am, it's called an easy A.
I said, "I'm
Thank you.
aware." And so she said, you're going to be fine. But
Did they
I get
make
it.
you teach the class
No,
after that?
She
Did
was,
they bring
she
you
was
up?
very talented and she specialized. And she actually recorded some of the folks in my class because they had some very interesting dialects. And she
Yeah.
collected them. She worked with
She
movie.
collected dialects?
She did because she
Oh, there's a
her
whole
other
thing of
job
people who
was
do that, yeah.
movie and TV shows, that she was a dialect coach. So we had one girl, bless her. She was from kind of mid to the south of Mississippi, and she could not get past her accent from where she was from. But she worked so hard trying to be in journalism, and she was so dedicated, but you just couldn't put her on TV anywhere other than the town that she lived in.
It's weird because it's sometimes when you don't try to lose it, you lose it anyway. Because like I moved out and went to Guam. I was 17, and I sounded like just typical Cajun kid. And somehow, somewhere, I lost it. And I mean, I've moved all over the country, everywhere from I've named the state, and I've basically lived there. And so yeah, it only comes out when I'm drunk. That's really it. Like
And
Patrick's
mine
comes out.
as a joke, but it's still not like it was
Patrick,
when I was
yours
a kid.
comes out if somebody breathes near
Not
you
as
and they
much-
happen to be
not
from.
as much as 20 years ago, man. You're remembering. We've been working together so long. You're remembering stuff from a long time ago. I
Why don't you call your mom?
I can
Call your
force
mom.
It, no,
Let's see how long it
I can force
takes.
it now, but it just doesn't. It doesn't have the same. Like my family, my sister-in-law Brandy says this all the time. She goes, when you try to talk like you from here, it sounds fake.
The worst is when
Oh.
I
Yeah.
go to Houma. I grew up in a town called Houma, Louisiana. If you don't know where it is, Google it. It's been decimated by Ida. People still without power. What, almost a month and a half, 2 months later? So yeah, it's really bad. So anyway, I go there, and I'll be in a restaurant or something, and somebody will say, "Where are you from?" I'm like,
Yeah.
a quarter of a mile from here.
So it makes you a little sad.
Yeah, it does. It makes me kind of sad because I'm like, oh.
Meanwhile, I go to home Connecticut and I throw on a Southern accent when I need something because they think I'm dumb. Because it's a terrible prejudice, and we know it's not true, but takes their guard down. I pull up and I'm like trying to get a parking spot. I'm like, "Excuse me, where am I supposed to be parking at?" And they're like, "Oh," and they don't say bless
that's
her
so
because they're
bad.
northern, and they're like, "Oh, no offense, but she dumb." And so then they're like, "Oh, honey, you can just park here." And of course, I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I would do that
They
at
say honey?
concerts. No, I don't even know if they do that. But yeah, I did that at a concert once. I was waiting to go through the metal detector screening. And I was like, "I came from Nashville to get here." And I start talking like Mama from Mama's Family. And, but I turned on the Southern accent and I was like, "Why don't you use me as a test? Because you said these are new devices." And he's like, "That's a great idea." Well, the thing is, I had pit tickets and I wanted to be the first in the pit. So he wands me through 10 minutes before everybody else. He's like, "All right, now you just stand here when they say open up." And so I was the first one in because he was like, "Oh, she's sweet. She's dumb."
She's
I wasn't
different.
dumb. I just put on a different way to talk, and you, sir, are wrong.
She comes off so cute, doesn't she? You just never think that.
She's going to be that
devious.
person.
Calculated
She's gonna
and
be
So
devious,
devious.
nefarious ways of
Yeah.
Carson.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a happy check-in.
I'm so happy.
Thank
Okay,
you, Peter.
done.
Still
We're very
happy.
happy
Still
about
happy.
that.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Everybody good for the weekend? We're good?
I think so. I'm going leaf peeping this weekend. I am.
So happy.
Just like that.
So happy for you.
Yes. You should be. It's peak season here.
Again,
the
for those of
Leafs
you watching
to
on
be peaked.
YouTube, you're not going to hear this, but for those of you listening to the podcast on any podcast app or wherever you're at, you're going to hear this really cool interview with Scott Brick. Very fascinating world that we didn't even know existed in the art of narration and the books and all that. So we're out. Bye.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay, because you can listen to the regular show on the radio every day. It was the podcast.